right, everybody. Let's do the time warp again. We have the Colorado Rockies horror baseball show. Game number 5, second game of 3 in Philadelphia between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Colorado Rockies. Kyle Freeland on the mound for the Rockies, who lost opening day. And so he's going to see what he can do to try to get the Rockies in a winning way, but it's not going too well. They are 0-4. And Zach Wheeler is on the mound for the Philadelphia Phillies. Citizens Bank Park, singles are 1-8 left, 1-2 right. Home runs are 17 left and 11 right. Zach Wheeler does have a -4 on his hold. Kyle Freeland's a -3, so both of them pretty good runners. We'll see how that plays out. Good evening, Ben and Philip. Good to see both of you. All right, Zach Wheeler will be on the mound for the Phillies. And on the Action PC game, the Phillies are 2-1, and then, of course, they're now 3-1 since they beat the Rockies on Monday night. Of course, they had Tuesday off. That was an off day. And so now second and third, they play in Philadelphia before they travel back home to take on the Athletics in their home opener. But right now, hello, Dr. D. Right now, it is Brenton Doyle. He will lead things off for the Rockies against Zach Wheeler. And we'll see if the Rockies have any life tonight. We get a 4-7, and that's a strikeout. Not a good start. Doyle has just been striking out at an incredible clip, and he starts out, of course, with another strikeout. Here's Ezekiel Tovar. And that's a 6-9, and that's going to be another strikeout. So back-to-back strikeouts to start the ball game for Zach Wheeler. Forgot to mention that Zach Wheeler, look at his numbers here, on the 2025 season, he was 10-5 with a 2.71 ERA, so pretty good. So tough pitcher for the Rockies to try to get well against. 2 straight strikeouts, and we bring up Ryan McMahon. It's a 5-11 left-hander, and that's a fly ball right field X. Castellanos is a 4-0. He can't make an error, so we're only worrying about the 4 in the range category. And for his range, 4, he needs a 12 or higher to make this play. That's an 8. It's going to drop in for a base hit. Base hit for Ryan McMahon as the right fielder Castellanos couldn't reach it. That'll bring up Hunter Goodman. Ryan McMahon, no threat to run. Hunter Goodman, the catcher. That is a 2-4, and that's a straight-out home run for Hunter Goodman. Clean as a baby's behind right there. Look at that, 2-4 against the right-hander, Hunter Goodman. He had 31 home runs real world, and he comes up with a 2-run home run in the first inning off of Zach Wheeler. 2-0 Rockies. Of course, the Rockies have started with leads before and saw them go away very quickly. Once I play a few more games, I'll worry about what their cumulative stats are. Right now, I'm not too worried about how many home runs somebody's hitting or what their average is, because it's just not a big enough sample size. So that'll bring up, of course, Mr. Chris Bryant using the nameless player card. 4-9, and that's a strikeout. So Wheeler strikes out the side outside of the 2-run homer there. And we go to the bottom of the first. It is the Rockies 2, the Phillies nothing. Phillies coming to bat, actually. And Kyle Freeland, 6-17 with a 5-17 with a 4.98 ERA, but they threw him out there for 31 times. So that'll send up Trey Turner. Trey Turner, the shortstop, will lead things off here against Mr. Freeland. 4-2 against the right-hander. That's a ballpark blast for Trey Turner. 1-11 And the Phillies will jump all over with a leadoff home run on a 1-11. That's a 15, so it's a deep fly to left, and they catch a break. Trey Turner, deep fly to left field. One down for Bryce Harper, first baseman. That's a 5-11, and that's going to be a ballpark single check, which for a lefty is a 1-8 for Bryce Harper. And that's a 5, so Bryce Harper will get that base hit. He's at a 7, but Freeland is a -3, so I think Harper is going to just stay put. And that'll bring up third baseman Alec Boehm with Harper at first and one out. That is a 4-10 right-handed, and that's a split. 1-12 is a single. 13-20, he lines it to Tovar. And that's it was an 18, but now it's a 3. Was going to be an out, but now it's going to be a base hit. First and second, one out, and here comes the dangerous Kyle Schwarber. Hit leadoff in the first game of the series, is batting cleanup in this game. 6-2, lefty-lefty. That's a fly ball to right. That's 2 away. And that'll bring up Castellanos in a clutch situation against lefties. He loses a hit on 3-7. Castellanos. 1-7, struck him out, so Freeland pitches around that. And the Rockies keep a 2-0 lead after 1. Here is Michael Toglia, first baseman, switch hitter against Wheeler. 4-2, and that's going to be a ground ball to second, handled by Sosa. One away for Nick Martini. Martini, the right fielder. Whoa, that white dot did not go through. It jumped over the edge, so let's try this again. There we go. 4-7, lefty, struck him out. 4 strikeouts for Wheeler. And that'll bring up Kyle Farmer. 4-4, and it's a catcher X. Realmuto is a 2-1. 2-18 is going to be a nothing play. 2-18 is going to be a G2. And then he's an E1, so the only error possibility is a 17. And that's not going to be it. That's going to be a 2-3 ground out. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Zach Wheeler. Much better than his first inning. Go to the bottom of the second. Still 2-0 Rockies. And Freeland back out will face Mr. Realmuto, the catcher. Start things off. That is a 5-8. That 6, I know, got buried under there, but it is 5-8. 5-8. That's a 1-4 for a triple. 5-20 is a double. And that will be a double, leadoff double for Realmuto. Start things off. Hello, RJL. All right, here is Mr. Kepler. 3-9, lefty-lefty. That's a home run, 1-7. Or a fly ball, 8-20. That's a 17, so we got another break. That's a fly ball to left. One away for Sosa, the second baseman. That's a 3-5, and that's going to be a single 2 stars. That'll score Realmuto, and the Phillies are on the board. RBI single from Edmundo Sosa. Makes it a 2-1 ball game. No threat to run is Sosa, and here comes the number 9 hitter, Johan Rojas, center fielder. Oh, that one didn't go through either. The white one just skipped over on me, so let's try it again. 4-7, righty. That's a strikeout for Freeland, his second. Flip the order to Trey Turner. Two, 3. I know that one there got stuck there. 2-3 against the lefty. It's a ground ball to third. That will end the inning. Phillies get a run, but the Rockies maintain the lead 2-1 as we head to the top of the third. And I didn't even realize it. I guess maybe it was this year or last. I think maybe it was last year that the Rocky Horror Picture Show turned 50. I think it was in 70. I think it came out in 75. I'm not sure. It's not a kind of movie I'd watch. It's kind of a cult thing. I don't really. It's not my style, but somehow it inspired this. I don't know why. Mickey Moniak, 5'8", and has another strikeout. And there's one away. 5th strikeout for Wheeler. Here's Brenton Doyle, 4'8", and that's going to be another strikeout. 6 strikeouts for the Rockies in this game. Tovar, 3'9" for Tovar, and that's a strikeout. So Wheeler strikes out the side. He's got 7 strikeouts in 3 innings. That is true, Ben. I figured 59 games is all I'm committing to, so it's not overbearing. Here's Bryce Harper, 5'7", lefty. That's a fly ball to left field. One away. Here is Alec Boehm, 3'6", and that's a double. 1 to 15, 16 to 20 will be a single. And that's a double for Alec Boehm, the tying run, now in scoring position with 1 out for Kyle Schwarber. 6'6", and that's a ground ball to second. That'll get the runner to third. 2 outs now with the tying run at third base, and here comes Castellanos in another clutch situation. Let's see here. Again, 3-7, he loses the hit. Castellanos, 210 against the lefty, struck him out. Freeland comes up and strikes him out, and that's going to end the inning. The only thing that would make this more exciting replay is to do this while I'm going on a walk, because that seems to be the hot item now, is to go for walks and do chats. So maybe I should play the game while I'm walking down the street. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Here's Ryan McMahon, 4'9", and it's a 1-4 single. 5 to 20, he grounds to first. And that's a single for Ryan McMahon, 2 for 2. I don't get it, Ben, but it's typical. Gardner has a way of influencing people on YouTube. So if he does something, other people are going to do something. Nobody corner rounded until Gardner corner round. Now everybody wants to corner round to be cool. Same thing. He has that influence on people on YouTube. I credit him for it. It takes talent to have that kind of influence, but he does. Here's Hunter Goodman, 4'11", and that's a fly ball left field X. Let's see, left fielder X. And the left fielder in this case is Kepler. He's a 2E1. 214, he'll get to that. E1, the only error is a 3 and a 17. And he's got no worries there. He makes the play. 1 down. And that will bring up Chris Bryant. It's possible. Like I said, he's like it's like Keith Avalone at Play.com. He could, I'm still waiting for Play.com to come out with a what would be the right word for it? Bathroom blast game, maybe. Decider dive depends on whether or not it's a floater or not. All right, here is Chris Bryant, but he'll put it out and people will buy it. They put out a driving a truck game, people bought that. A fishing game, people bought that. He's just, he's one of these people. He's got that company. He's got swag or whatever it is, that whatever he puts out, people are going to just hand him money and buy it. They don't even want to play it or not. They're just going to buy it because it's the flavor of the month. 5-7 is a strikeout. There's a lot of flavor of the months on YouTube and in the gaming community where people get hot on the game for about a month and then you never hear about the game again. it goes on people's shelves. They never play it, and then they probably regret buying. It's probably buyer's remorse at that point. Here's Michael Tolia, 411, switch hitter batting left, and that's a fly ball left field X again. So Kepler a 2, and that's a 15. 3 and a 17, the only error, so he makes the play. That will end the inning. You think it's the Boston accent that gets people to follow him like lemmings? I don't know. Maybe. It's possible. Now, if he wants to really do something, why don't he corner around while he walks? Then I'll be impressed. You can walk and chew gum at the same time, but can you walk and corner around at the same time? That's the true talent right there. Here's Freeland, 6'7", and that's a ground ball second base X. And we're looking at Farmer. He's a 3E5. 3 and 20. No problems. E5. The only errors on E5s. Second base, E5. The only errors are 16 and 18. And he makes the play easily. Realmuto is retired. But if it makes him happy, hey, go for it. I'm not mad at him. 3-9 and lefty, and that's a home run 1-7. Fly to left on a 8-20, and that's a fly to left, 2 down. I end every broadcast with play the game you want to play the way you want to play it. I guess walk the way you want to walk, however you want to walk it. Maybe that's a new mantra I should have. I don't know. Here is Sosa, 4-8, and that's a single. I'm still waiting for Bathroom Blast from Play.com. I still think that would sell. I know that would sell. I don't have any doubt about that. No, and if you did Express, that would be like having diarrhea. Here's Rojas, 6-2, and that's a strikeout to end the inning, his 4th. So at the 4, Rockies still lead 2-1. Maybe he needs to get a cat. I don't know. He probably doesn't need one though. He's already got the throngs of fans, so he doesn't need a cat. All right, here is Nick Martini. Let's see. Wheeler has a fatigue of 6. So does Freeland. Martini a 3-8. That's a fly to left, 1 away. And I got all the respect for Gardner and for Keith Avalone. I mean, they know what they're doing. I mean, just amazing they have that kind of influence in such a small little genre, but they do. 3-11, and that is a ballpark single check. 1-2 for a right-hander, not very good. And that will end up being a line out to short. 2 down, and here comes Mickey Moniak. 5-6, and that's a 1-4 triple. Anything else, he will fly it out to Castellanos. And it's a fly out to Castellanos to end the inning. So the Rockies go back to their non-hitting ways the last 4 innings. They're still barely holding on to a 2-1 lead as we go to the top of the bottom of the 5th, rather, for Trey Turner. That's a 6-8. I know it didn't show up very well. 6-8. And that's a double, 1-2. Anything else will be a base hit for Turner. And that's a single for Turner. He's going to be looking to run. Turner, 2 through 5 or a 12 will get him the lead. 2 through 5 or a 12. Doesn't get the lead, he's going to hold. So Turner will hold on there. And here's Bryce Harper. 1-7 for Harper, lefty. It's a ground ball to first base B. They get the fielder's choice and throw out the fast-running Turner. Harper, the new runner at first. He's going to try for the lead, but he needs a 7 to get it. And he doesn't get it, so he'll hold. And here's Alec Bohm. 5-7, and that's a strikeout for Freeland. 2 down. 2 down, and that's going to bring up Schwarber. That's a 2, so balk or pass ball. That is a pass ball chance on the catcher, Goodman. And his pass ball rating is only a 1. So it has to be a 1 to be a pass ball, and it is not. So Schwarber stands in. 1-8, and that's a ballpark blast for Schwarber. 1-17. It looks like the Phillies are going to take the lead right here on a 1-17. And they do. Kyle Schwarber goes deep, and the Phillies grab a 3-2 lead. The dangerous Kyle Schwarber and his 56 home runs in the 25 season. Phillies lead at 3-2. Here's Castellanos. That's a 5-9. And that's an in-home run chance, 1-13, 14-20 is a double. And that'll be another home run for Castellanos, back-to-back jacks. Phillies take a 4-2 lead. Back-to-back home runs. Here's Realmuto, 3-3, and that's a split. 1-14 is a single, and that's a single for Realmuto. So all of a sudden, Freeland just seems to have lost it. Here's Kepler. But you know what lurks in the bullpen. So 1-4, they're going to try to stick with Freeland as long as possible. 3 runs for the Phillies. They lead it now 4-2 as we head to the 6th. And this will be the fatigue inning for Zach Wheeler. Come on, you don't think Bathroom Blast wouldn't sell, especially Bathroom Blast Express? I know it would sell. Here's Doyle, 2-8, righty, and that's a pop out to third. And here is Tovar, 5-6, and that's a 1-6 double. 7-20 is a single. And that's a single for Ezequiel Tovar. He could try to get the lead, but they're down by 2, so we're not going to run ourselves out of an inning. We're going to see what Ryan McMahon can do. He's 2 for 2. To 1-7, he's going to draw a walk. Back come the Rockies, maybe. Here's Goodman. He homered. He had a 2-run homer his first time up. Maybe put a little pressure on Zach Wheeler here. That's interesting, Ben. All right, here's Hunter Goodman. In the clutch, Goodman will lose a hit on 3-11. 2-6 for Goodman, and that's going to drop in at least 1 run. 1-7 is a triple. 8-20 is a double. Goodman with a triple, and we got a tie ball game. He has tripled and homered, is Hunter Goodman, and we are tied at 4 apiece. And now Zach Wheeler has reached fatigue. So the Phillies bullpen starting to stir. They have left-handed action. Matt Schaum, the left-hander, is loosening in their bullpen. There's Chris Bryant. 1 out, runner at third. Infield is in for the Phillies. 5-12, and that's going to be a ground ball pitcher X. And the infield is in, and the pitcher is always considered in. So he's a 1E10. 1E10. 1-5 for a pitcher. Let's see what that comes about. 1-5 is a G3. So this might score the run anyway. I don't know what the infield in, though. Let's see. He is an E10. And 11, 15, 3, and 18. That's going to be fine. So we'll go to G3. We'll go to our G3 with the infield in. Where did G3 go? No, I'm probably looking right at it and not seeing it. G3. Oh, here we go. Right here, G3. Infield in, runner at third. And it says infield in is a decide chance. Runner on third gets, that's dead. Lead runner can attempt to advance a base, compute the safe chances, running speed -4 plus the defensive fielder's rating. So running speed on Goodman is only an 11. -4 makes that a 7, and then the +1 there is an 8. So 1 to 8, he would score. Or he could hold it third with 2 outs and hope Tolia does something. And not very good odds, but the chance of Tolia getting a base hit is not very good either. Man, they're going to hold Tolia. They don't like that 1 to 8. The 1 to 8 just does not compute very well. So they're going to try for Tolia in a clutch situation to drive home the go-ahead run. That's a 2, so it's balk or pass ball. That's a balk rating on Wheeler, but he's a 0. So here's Tolia in the clutch for Tolia. He is neutral. That's a 2-6, and he's going to get a 1 to 2 single. Anything else, he grounds it to Turner at short. And grounded to short to end the inning. But the Rockies tied on the 2-run triple from Goodman. We go to the bottom of the 6th, and that'll be it for Zach Wheeler. He's going to go 6 innings. He reached his fatigue point. He goes 6 innings. He's going to give up 4 runs, all earned. He's going to give up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. He walks 1, and he struck out 8. He could still win it if the Phillies take the lead this inning. Otherwise, he will get a no decision. And the pitcher coming into the 7th inning for the Phillies next inning will be Strom, the left-hander. It's a +1 hold, and Realmuto -3 makes him a -2. All right, so it's the fatigue inning now for Kyle Freeland. Let's see what he can do, see if he can hold the fort against the bottom of the order for the Phillies, Sosa, Rojas, and then Turner. Bottom of the 6th tied at 4. Hello, Beatles. Good to see you. I was just doing some ramblings. You'd have to go back and watch it later, Beatles, on some of the ramblings I was doing on certain things that happen on YouTube and in the community itself. All right, here is Sosa. 3-3, and that's going to be a split. 1 to 9 is a single. 10 to 20, he lines out to short, and that's a base hit. Base hit for Sosa. Leadoff single, and that is the go-ahead run. Here's Rojas. That's a 1, so Freeland's wild pitch rating is a 2. No wild pitch. So here is Rojas. 2-6, and that is a ground ball right back to Freeland. He'll throw to second to get the lead dog on the fielder's choice, and now Rojas will be looking to run. He needs a 3 through 6 to establish a good lead. And he gets a 10, so he does not get the good lead. Well, I was just thinking of some ideas. That's all. Random thoughts. All right, so let's see. Trey Turner, your batter. That's a 2-8, and that's a single to right field. And remember, when you single to right, you add 2 going from right field to third base. Right fielder arm, Martini's a 0. So Rojas is a 16. He was being held, makes him a 15, but they add 2 on the 17 to go to right field. And if they throw through and don't get him, Turner's going to take second. So they'll hit the cutoff man, keep Turner at first base, and Rojas will go to third base. And now Turner's looking to get a lead. That's a 1. Possible wild pitch again, 1 to 2. No wild pitch. Here's Turner. He needs a 2 through 5 or a 12. Doesn't get it. He will stay where he is. And now here's Bryce Harper. 1 out, runners at the corners, infield looking for the double play. And that's a 1-5, and that's a 1 to 3 single. Anything else, he lines out to second. And that's a liner right to the second baseman, Farmer. Everybody stays where they are. And now it's up to Alec Boehm in a clutch situation. 2 outs and runners on the corners against lefties. Boehm loses 2 hits, 1-12 and 1-2 and 1-12. And I think that's it. So clutch situation. Freeland trying to hang on. That's a 3-12. That's a ballpark blast. That's bad news. Ballpark blast 1-11. And we have a 3-run home run. 12 or higher, the inning is over. And that's gone. You knew it was going to be gone. Alec Boehm, a 3-run home run. And the horror show continues. It is now a 7-4 ball game, and Kyle Freeland is toast. Fought long and hard and just couldn't go any further. They're going to try to get him out of the inning with Schwarber. It's a 4-10, and that's a fly to right, so he does do that, but that's going to do it. And now, actually, Wheeler is the winner pitcher with the winning pitcher record. I'll say it right eventually. He is the winning pitcher record because those runs belong to him. 7-4 as we go to the 7th. Close the book on Freeland. 6 innings pitched. He's going to give up 7 runs. They were all earned. Gives up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 hits he gave up. He didn't walk a whole lot. That was a positive. In fact, he didn't walk anybody. In fact, he had too much control. Sometimes you need be a little wild in the strike zone. He was way too much in control. And 5 strikeouts. So we go to the bullpen, and Tyler Kinley, who will later get traded to Atlanta, he will come in and pitch for the Rockies in the bottom of the 7th. Tyler Kinley, right-hander. He is a +6 hold, which obviously is not good. But enough of Freeland. He's done. Matt Strahm, he was 2-3, 2.74 ERA, and 6 saves in the 25 season. Left-hander. He'll be facing the left-hander Martini, followed by Farmer, and then Moniak. So here's Martini, 3-8, and he flies at the left field, 1 away. Hello, Thomas and Alex. Yes, the first 3 rounds, I've already recorded them, and they will be shown tomorrow, and that'll get everybody ready for Saturday's final round. But the first 3 rounds, where you would do the cut rounds for rounds 1 and 2, and then also the 3rd round where the golfers get placed in their top 12 and get their chips or whatever. That's all been pre-recorded. I recorded that last night, and when there was no baseball game for the Rockies, recorded that last night. So I will upload that tomorrow, probably early, probably like around 6:30, 7 o'clock maybe. I'll upload that. And then at 9 tomorrow night, we'll do the Rockies again. All right, here's Kyle Farmer. 3-9 for Farmer, and that's a single. So at least the Rockies, if nothing else, they've broken out of their hitting slump because they had bad stuff with hitting. Mickey Moniak will be pinch hit for. He doesn't hit well against lefties. So they will call him back, and they will bring on Jordan Beck to take over in left field. He'll pinch hit and take over in left field. So Beck pinch hitting for Moniak. Now the lefty is in there. Jordan Beck against Strahm. That's a 6-6, and that's a strikeout. Yet another strikeout by the Rockies. And here's Brenton Doyle. 2 outs. You get a 4-10, and that's another strikeout. Brenton Doyle's got the hat trick. He has struck out 3 times. So Strahm does his job. He goes 1 inning, gives up a hit, nothing else, strikes out 2. And we go to the 7th inning stretch here in Philadelphia with the Phillies leading the Rockies 7-4. Tyler Kinley will be your new pitcher. 6-3, 3.96 ERA with 3 saves. These are combined numbers between Colorado and Atlanta, as he does go to Atlanta later in the season. So Tyler Kinley coming on, and he'll be facing Castellanos, Realmuto, and Kepler. Here in the bottom of the seventh, it was 7-4 game. 3-7 rather. 3-7 against the right-hander. That's a 1-2 for a double. 3-20. Whoops, let's back this up a little bit. Kind of losing peripheries here. 3-7, 1-2 is a double. 3-20 is a single. And that's going to be a leadoff single for Castellanos. He's aboard. Here's Realmuto. And that's a 110. And that's going to be a ground ball shortstop A. We finally got a Giovanni's Tailor Shop. Tailor-made double play. 6-4-3. Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you have any tailoring needs, be sure to go by and see them. Tell them Demo sent you. They'll give you a discount. They're the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop, tailor-made double play of the game. And you can't get any more tailor-made than 6-4-3. So 2 outs, base is clear for Kepler. And we get a 3-10, and that's a single for Kepler. And that'll send up Sosa, second baseman. 1 out and 1 on, or 2 outs and 1 on. And we get a 4-7 right-handed. That's a walk. So Kinley thought he was getting out of the trouble, but with that double play, but now he's a single and a walk has provided more trouble. And here's Johan Rojas in a clutch situation. That's a 5-7. And that's a 1-14 single. It's only going to be 1 star, though. And it is a 14. Right on the number. The bases are now loaded for Trey Turner. Kinley's got to bear down. It's now a clutch situation for Trey Turner. In the clutch, he is neutral. That is a 111 for Turner. It's a split. 1-8's a single. 9-20. They line it to Tovar, and the inning's over. So they need a 9 through 20 to get out of the inning. And they do. So it lines it to Tovar. And after all the mess, they come away with no runs. So Kinley pitches his 1 inning, and he survives somehow. He's going to give up 3 hits, no runs, and a walk. No strikeouts, but the double play certainly helping his cause. And now we go to the Philly bullpen, and they will be looking for right-handed action out of their bullpen. And they will turn to Joe Ross, former Washington National, former San Diego Padre. Joe Ross, 2-1, 5.12 ERA and no saves. He does have fatigue of 2 innings in relief, so he could close out the game. However, they get probably he's there to pitch the 8th because they bring their closer in unless the Phillies score more runs. You would think they would go to their closer, whoever that happens to be. So here is Ezekiel Tovar and Joe Ross. Ross is a -2, makes him a -5. So Ross will be facing Tovar, McMahon, and Goodman. Heart of the order. This is the inning for the Rockies. They have their best hitters up here now. This is the time to get it done. Down 7-4. Tovar, 4-9, and that's a fly to right field, 1 away. That'll bring up Ryan McMahon, 4-8, and that's a double for McMahon. He's actually got 3 hits in this game. He's 3 for 3 with a walk and 2 runs scored. And here comes Hunter Goodman. He has tripled and homered in this game. See what he can do against Mr. Ross. 2-6, and that's going to be 1-7 for a triple. 8-20 would be a single. And that's a single. 2 stars. It's going to score McMahon. And that's going to cut the lead to 7-5. And here comes Chris Bryant, but they're going to pull Chris Bryant for a pinch hitter. And they're going to go to a lefty. Or if they don't have a lefty. So they're going to go to Tyler Freeman. He's a 281 hitter. And Tyler Freeman will take over as the DH. So Tyler Freeman will take over. And now the Phillies have their bullpen going as well. Now that Ross has struggled a bit. Ross has faced 3 batters, so he is eligible to be removed. He fulfilled the requirement of 3 batters. Jordan Romano is their closer, but he would be needing to get 5 outs, and I don't know if they do that in 2025. So they're going to look to Jose Alvarado. He's loosening in the bullpen. But they're going to give Ross every chance to get out of the inning. You're facing Freeman. That's a 3-6 for Freeman, and that's a single, 2 stars. Runners at the corners for Michael Toglia. And that's going to be it for Ross. They're going to bring in Alvarado. Ross couldn't get it done. So here is left-hander Jose Alvarado. Ross faces 4. He goes a third of an inning, gives up 3 hits and a run, possibly 2 more. It is now 7-5 with the tying runs on base. And now lefty Alvarado will face the switch-hitting Toglia, turn him around to bat right-handed. Runners at the corners. The infield is playing back for a double play. Alvarado to Toglia. That's a 2-3, and that's a ballpark blast for Toglia. It's a 1-11. The Rockies can take the lead on a 1-11. 16, though, it's going to be a sacrifice fly, but it could have been a 3-run homer. But failed home runs by default are B fly balls, which turn to sacrifice flies. So it cuts the lead to 7-6. 2 outs now for Nick Martini. And they will pinch hit for Martini. He only faced lefties 4% of the time. So they don't want him to face a lefty here. So the Rockies will go to their last bench player. Actually, they have 2 bench players remaining. They have the backup catcher Stallings, and they have Sean Bouchard, who will pinch hit for Martini and stay in the game to play left field. So Bouchard, or right field rather. So Bouchard going to pinch hit, stay in the game to play right field. Sean Bouchard. The Rockies have at least shown a little bit of grit as they have fought their way back, cutting the lead to 7-6. Still only 2 outs now and a runner at second in Freeman. So Alvarado, lefty on the righty Bouchard. 4-8, and that's a single 1-16. 17-20 is a line out. And that's a base hit. Going to put runners at first and second with 2 outs for Kyle Farmer. Alvarado has to face 5 batters. He's only faced 3 batters. He's only faced 2. So can't bring in a righty to face Farmer. Alvarado's going to have to do it himself. Farmer in a clutch situation against lefties gains 1 hit on 2-7. 2-2, however, is a low max, and that's going to end the inning. There's already 2 outs, so no double play. But 2 runs for the Rockies, and they cut the lead to 7-6. Close the book on Ross. He gives up 2 runs. Alvarado will go 2/3 of an inning, give up a hit, nothing else. And coming into pitch in the 9th will be their closer, Jordan Romano. And the Phillies, or rather the Rockies, will need a new pitcher to come in to face Schwarber, Harper, Bohm, and Schwarber. So 2 out of 3 are left-handed, so you really want the lefty relievers, but both of their left-handed relievers are awful. Just plain out awful. Who do we go to? They're going to go to, I'm going to play it the way the manager would play it because he didn't know they're awful yet until they had more awfulness to share. So we're going to go with Scott Alexander. He's the least of the awful. His ERA is only 6.11, which is better than the other guy. So 1-1, 6.11 ERA. He later gets picked up by San Francisco. Why the Giants want him, I have no idea. But he's in there to try to keep the score at 7-6. -1 hole, which makes him a 0. But the Rockies have right-handed action right behind him because they just want him to face these 3 guys. They're not going to have him face Castellanos and Realmuto. So in that instance, they have Victor Vodnik loosening the bullpen, and he would come in if Alexander doesn't go 1, 2, 3. We will see Vodnik most likely. Right now, it's a lefty-lefty matchup with Bryce Harper, 7-6. That's a 4-9 lefty-lefty, and that's a ground ball to first. Nice play by Tolley, a 1 away. And he avoided a lot of trouble there. 8, 10, 7, 6 would have all been trouble, but not that one. Here's Bohm. 5, 6, and that's a fly to center, 2 down. So how about that? Alexander gets the first 2 out. And here's the dangerous Kyle Schwarber. He's a home run waiting to happen. 4, 7, and that's a 1-7 single. 8-20 grounds to first. And it's an 8, so Tolia gets it. And how about that? Alexander, 1, 2, 3, 8th inning. We go to the 9th. It is 7-6 Phillies. And coming on to pitch will be Jordan Romano, their closer. Although he had a terrible year. 8 saves, but an 8.23 ERA. But he was their closer early in the season. He is a +5 with his hold because he's a +9, so even the -3 won't help. So Romano's coming on to face Beck, Doyle, and Tovar for the Rockies here in the top of the 9th, 7-6 ball game. That's a 3-5 for Jordan Beck, and that's a strikeout. Jordan Beck out on strikes, 1 away. Speaking of strikeouts, here's Brenton Doyle. He's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Not exactly top-notch work as a leadoff hitter. That's a 1-6. Ground ball second base X. We're looking at Sosa. He's a 3-E-6. 3-E-6 for Sosa. 3 and a 9. He'll get to that. 3 and a 9 is a G3. And then the E6 at second base has to avoid 3, 16, and 18, which he barely does, and he makes the play. 2 down. So it's all up to Tovar. If Tovar can reach, you got the hot-hitting McMahon and Goodman right behind him, but he's got to get on base to extend the ball game. Here's Tovar. That's a 5-6, and that's a double, 1-15. 16-20 would be a single. And that's a double for Ezequiel Tovar. Now the tying run is in scoring position. It is a clutch situation for Ryan McMahon. And McMahon is 3 for 3 with a walk. In the clutch, McMahon against right-handers loses 1 hit on a 1-2. Everywhere else, he is neutral. So Romano trying to close the deal. 5-5. Ground ball shortstop backs. We're looking at Turner. Turner is a 2E10. He was not holding the runner on, so he keeps his 2. 2 and a 4. Should at least get to that. 2 and a 4. Yep, it's a G3 pound, but he wasn't holding the runner, so the pound's irrelevant. And he just has to avoid the error. He's an E10. He has to avoid 16, 17, and 18. Also a 3. 3, 16, 17, and 18 are to be avoided. If he avoids those, the game's over. And he does. So Trey Turner makes the play, and the Phillies hang on and win it by the final score of 7-6. But at least the Rockies show a little bit of grit and don't just fold up like a cheap tent. They actually show a little bit of offense as well. Freeland takes the loss. He's 0-2. The win goes to Wheeler. Not sure what his record is on the Action PC replay. We'll get the totals: 7 runs, 16 hits, and no errors for the Phillies. 6 runs, 11 hits, and no errors for the Rockies. So that's probably the most runs the Rockies have scored in this replay in this single game, but they gave up 7. And unfortunately, what did them in was the Alec Bohm 3-run home run. That was the difference in the game. Rockies were tied 4-4, but the 3-run homer from Bohm was the difference. So, unfortunately, the Rockies dropped to 0-5. And then tomorrow night, roughly around 9 o'clock, it'll be the final game of this 3-game series in Philadelphia before the Rockies go home for their opener against the Athletics. But the final game against the Phillies on April the 3rd, which is a Thursday day game. So actually, I might play this in the day game. I might do this in tomorrow afternoon, actually, and then put the golf at night. I might do that because this game, April 3rd game, getaway day, was an actual day game. So I think to mirror that, I'll probably do that. Taijuan Walker for the Phillies against Sensatella for the Rockies. So probably we'll be looking at tomorrow afternoon, since it was an afternoon game for real in Philadelphia, because they play afternoon games so they can travel to Colorado for the next day, because on Friday the 4th, they'll be at home taking on the Athletics, the home opener. Ryan Feltner and company will be there for that. So anyway, that's going to do it from here. Thank you, everybody, for sitting through this and agonizing with me over these Rockies. So since tomorrow was a day game real world, what I'll do is I'll play that tomorrow afternoon. I'll try to do it right before. I don't want to conflict with Spokane Steve, so I'll try to play this maybe around 3 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, something like that, so that I don't interfere, because I don't want to. I know Spokane Steve kind of has his own thing there about 4:30. I don't want to interrupt that. And Uncle Ron has his thing at noon, so I don't want to interrupt that. So we got 9 o'clock tomorrow morning for the Blue Jays and the Yankees 1987 replay. And then roughly around 3 o'clock tomorrow Eastern will be the final game of the Rocky Horror Baseball Show, Colorado Rockies replay, where we play the first 59 games. They were 9-50 real world in those 59 games. However, at this point, they were 1-4 instead of 0-5 like we are. So we're one game back. We can't win the first game yet. So wait to get that first win, and who knows when that's going to happen. So again, thanks to everybody. Thanks for listening to me ramble on early on about different things in the YouTube and gaming community. And like I said, I'm not knocking anybody, just some observations and some wonderings and some kudos to people who have great influence. So, kudos to them for being able to do it. So that's going to do it from here. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. See you all down the road.